Hi, and welcome back to the Weekend Warriors Workshop. Now, I'm still Chris, I'm your adventure guide, and in this episode we're going to build a knockoff version of the Hirsh Saw Table. The plans and material lists for this saw table can be found at www.weekendwarrior.20x.com, and there will be, with any luck, words appearing below me when you get to see this. Since this is YouTube, we only get 10 minutes, so I'm not going to get it all done in one video. So in this first part, this is part one, we're going to look at our list of materials and get our hardware that we're going to need for this modified, because there is some modification done, because every bit of hardware I'm using can be found at Home Depot. There's nothing special about it until we make it special. So sit back, stand by, and we'll get everything reconfigured so you can see our materials. Okay, we're back. We're set up with all the materials we're going to need, or at least most of the materials we're going to need. Starting with two 2x4s, 8 feet long, one 1x2 furring strip, again 8 feet long, strong tie half bases, part number BC40Z, strong tie angles, part number A21, little bottle of screws, some bolts with wing nuts and capture nuts, sawhorse brackets from Crawford. All these items are available readily at any Home Depot. Okay, before we start cutting any wood, we got to take care of our hardware. Now, I couldn't find U-brackets at Home Depot, so that's where these angles come in. We're going to turn these into these. Now, to do this, we're going to put this into our workmate. We're going to flatten it. Then we're going to mark it center, drill a couple holes, mount it to a piece of 1x, and use the 1x as our mold for bending our U-bracket. So hang on, we'll get to that. Okay, it's time to bend that bracket. Now we're starting with the A21 angle bracket. We're going to stick our rafter square into the vise, then we're going to stick the angle bracket into the vise. It crushes down as seen here. See, it's not perfectly flat, so you're going to take a piece of scrap wood, your ball peen hammer that comes in your standard household tool kit, and flatten it out. When you're done, it's going to look like that. It's going to look like this too. Now what you're going to do is you're going to measure center. Now I know these are 8.9 centimeters long. So I've got my combination square set up for 8.9 centimeters. Take a nice sharp nail, scratch in the line. There's my center line on it. Now it's ready for me to drill. Now I've got my drill. It's set up with a bit just a little bit bigger than the hardware I'm going to use to mount this thing. You see, I've clamped it into place so it doesn't move when I'm trying to drill my holes. And I'm going to put on my safety glasses. Now, I know I'm just drilling a hole, but I've seen shards of metal fly up and take a guy's eye. I don't take that chance, so on go my safety glasses, even though you can't see my face. I'm not real concerned about exact placement here. This is going to end up being my my template for all the others that I do. So they're all going to be drilled the same anyway. And there you have it. The center line holes are drilled. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but I've marked a center line on the scrap wood, so I can line it up, see the center line through, and then I'll go and get my cordless drill and I'll sink these two screws in. So, Okay, piece of hardware is mounted to our scrap. Now we can start bending this thing. Use our hands to get things going. Gotta watch out for that sort of thing. And use the workmate to finish the job. While our U-bracket is still mounted to the piece of scrap, what we're going to do is we're going to sink a screw into one of the side holes that we now have. And we're going to do it on both sides. Mount it into our workmate so it's nice and flush with the top. In between the two pre-drilled screw holes, we're going to drill a pivot hole. So first thing we need to do is put in a spot for our drill to start. Now I'm going to use a transfer punch. You can very well use a nice big heavy sharp nail. Get it in there, give it a smack. Now my drill bit's not going to wander when we get started. Since I want this to drill all the way through and be in the same place on both sides, I'm going to use my drill guide. By the way, still wearing my safety glasses. And there you have it. Perfect U-clamp. On to the next step. Okay, in our hardware modification, and while I was editing, I saw a missing scene, and that was modifying our sawhorse brackets. Now, inside the sawhorse bracket, there is a metal tab that sticks up that stops the 2x4 when you shove it in from the bottom. That's for your legs. There's also tabs on top to grab the cross piece when you put it in when you're making a sawhorse. Well, we're not making a sawhorse, so we want to eliminate the two tabs on the inside and one of the tabs on the top for the cross piece. What we're going to do is we're going to end up sliding our back leg all the way through. So we're going to take a sliding bar clamp. We're going to use it like a device. We're going to grab the inside tab. And we're just going to crush it right down. And then on top, I get it, I bend it out a little bit with my thumb, then I stick it into the core of the workmate. But you stick it in there and draw the workmate nice and tight. And then if the workmate has left any bad bumps or anything, you just take a ball peen hammer, stick it against the flat side, and hammer it down nice and flat. That's all there is to it. Well, we have another piece to modify, and that is our strong tie half base. Now there's not much to modify. All we're looking to do is to widen the holes on either side so we end up with our pivot like this. Because our pivot bolt is 3/16 of an inch and the holes that come with it aren't. So here we go. So all we're going to have to do here is mount our half base into a piece of scrap stock, mount it into our wood vise, put on our eye protection, and drill out the two sides. And that's all there is to it.